welcome to this week's Flash Friday Finance Update. I am back with the lovely Caitlin. She's been on holidays lately.
Yes.
And we wanted to discuss the top 3 things that have come into our emails inbox in the last week that are coming up in finance. So top 3 things are, we were going to talk about valuations, interest rates relating to credit scores, and servicing and how to help that, the higher interest rate environment. So, Caitlin, number 1, valuations. Yeah, what do you see?
We're just seeing that the lenders are tightening down a little bit on the valuation requirements, especially where there's a higher LVR or if they feel that people are paying a higher price.
Okay, so LVR being the loan to value ratio, so the percentage of the loan in the actual purchase price. So how you do that, generally lenders up to 80%, and a purchase will be automatically at the contract price, won't they? So they'll say the house cost 800,000, we'll do an LVR of 80, so
it's all good. Yeah.
Set price. But she's right. The minute the loan to value ratio goes above 80%, there can be, sometimes it's often that they will agree to a purchase. They're more likely to agree a purchase. But we do find that because prices have actually, particularly in southeast Queensland, have been moving quite quickly for the last, compared with a couple of years ago, where people have had properties that sat there like for 10 years going nowhere, and suddenly they've had this huge increase in the last 6 months, massive, a couple of 100,000 we're seeing jumping up in valuations. And so the banks are tending to go and have a look at properties and reassessing, are they really worth what people are paying? So that's been interesting. But we're finding vals are going up all over the place. What have you been seeing, Caitlin?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been seeing the general values are still increasing. So, yeah.
Number 2 thing that's top on our list for emails issues coming up, credit scoring or credit file, finding out your credit file. Tell us about what you're seeing with the effect on loans in that way.
Yeah, so a lot of lenders are now reviewing your credit file and giving you an interest rate based on what your credit file shows. So if you have late payments, for instance, and it shows up on your credit file, you can expect to pay a higher interest rate on your new loan.
So what advice can we give to people regarding looking after things like this to help their credit file get a better score?
Absolutely. They just need to pay their bills on time and pay their mortgage repayments on time, pay any car loans on time or credit cards on time, because each time that you pay late or you forget a month or anything like that, it is recorded on your credit file and it does have a negative impact.
Yeah, exactly. And also on your savings accounts, keep them in the positive, not the negative, because sometimes people say, oh, I just withdrew and the bank let me, but because my pay was going in a day or 2. But no, that actually also looks bad on your file, and the banks can see that now. So with open banking, it's like, wow, they can see what's going on in all your accounts. So maybe be very wary on those things. And it's so easy to let the file slip, and then when you really need some money, you end up paying a real premium for it, even though you shouldn't have had to. And number 3, we were going to talk about servicing, because it's been a bit harder, hasn't it? So what can we do about that?
It has been a little bit harder because obviously with interest rates being a bit higher, the banks are adding a 3% onto whatever the current interest rates are for you to service your loan at. So it does make it a little more challenging, but we are seeing a few banks look to bring that back a little bit, the buffer zone, because
yes, I've seen some 2% and refinances straight across, then they're not using the buffer at all. So
yeah, there are some things to help. Yeah. But definitely let us know if you about that, because we can give you some tips on things that you can do or change up. Sometimes, you might have a $10,000 credit card that you don't use sitting in your drawer, and things like that have a really big impact on your servicing. Just simply closing that can really increase your borrowing capacity.
And even if you still want it, we can actually work out, well, if you reduce it down to 2,000 or whatever, we can make it work. So ask us to do the assessment first, and then we'll help you decide what you might need to get through the new loan. So have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and we will see you next week. Have a great one. Bye.